Okay, hello, back again. So, if you haven't watched the last video, I suggest you watch it or at least skip to the end and just see where I left price action. But basically, this is where I left price action yesterday, it was around here. So, the chart basically looked like this yesterday. So, I'll skip all the waffling and get straight into it. So this was the zone I was interested in. Price obviously consolidated through Asia, didn't really do much. It didn't come up to the buy to sell wick, which I was interested in. But as you can see, we had this large move down, which was through Asian session and a long way across, because we're on the 3 minute, you can't see, but there was a break of quite a higher time frame structure, which is my internal break, as you can see here. So that then created this zone here, which on the 15 minute is a lovely buy to sell wick, as you can see in my notes. So we had this buy to sell wick, which was our zone. This was inducement under the zone. There was an imbalance which was filled, so this is actually a deeper mitigation because we did mitigate the zone already and fill the imbalance. So you've got a deeper mitigation, which is actually something I've just noticed I missed off my notes. But this entry price on the 3 minute, came into the zone and 0.25 percentile. We then had a large bearish engulfing candle, which was my entry at the end of that candle. Got in at the next candle, which was slightly bullish. Got in there, stop loss 6.5 pips, just above the internal protected high, and the TP was quite a long way off, but not too far, 21.7 pips down to these equal lows here, because everything else is aligned. So if we go on the higher time frame, this is my daily chart for AU. So basically what we have, as you can see, is we're in a downtrend on AU, so that aligns with our bearish setups. We are coming into a 4-hour demand, which, as you can see on the 4-hour demand, but with a inducement. So yesterday we basically closed just above this internal protected low here, and the new candle immediately started to break down, which for me showed that this 4-hour demand is acting as a draw on liquidity, and potentially this daily demand is acting as a draw on liquidity, because we've got liquidity in this wick on the daily, so we're technically drawing towards this internal protected low and this demand. So that's my higher time frame bias, hence why we were entering the shorts. Let's get this looking good again. There we are. So anyway, so we got into that. And this is the thing, when you're aligned with order flow and everything else is aligning, you really want to take advantage of that. Because as you can see from today, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4 trades, and 3 of them have hit TP and 1 hit break even. So there's no losses today. And this is just because everything else is aligned and we're working with the order flow, and the higher time frame bias is on our side as well. So you've got to utilize that when your system presents itself and be confident in your trades. So again, we're in this setup now. We have an internal break here, over a 50% close. This is our inducement. There's no imbalance, so it's a slightly lower probability setup, but we've had inducement. We then had wicked into the zone, rejected, wicked in again, rejected, and we got an entry here after the wick to the mid percentile. We got in at the open of that candle, which happened to be a very large bearish engulfing, which is a strong confluence for the trade going in our favor. This is a 1 to 3, took 6 hours 46 minutes to hit full TP. This trade, which I just spoke about, I forgot to mention, was 1 to 3.34R and took 9.5 hours. This was taken in Asia session, this was taken in London session at 7 o'clock. Well, technically Frankfurt session, because 7 o'clock is when Frankfurt opens. But anyway, this was a 15-minute buy to sell. Or am I lying to you? Was it just a normal demand? So this was actually just a 3-minute setup. So the notes lie. It was just a 3-minute supply setup. So a standard 3-minute continuation setup aligned with DXY and higher time frame trend. So that then obviously went on to hit TP. This is now an internal, this would be what I would say is either a continuation or a range setup, but basically, as you can see, we've had internal break within the structure of this trade. Internal protected high is created. We've had a small imbalance, as you can see, and inducement. We then created a weak low, came up into the zone. Price came into the zone. I entered quite spontaneously at the open of that candle, which happened to be again a bearish engulfing, which is a good confluence for our trade, as mentioned on this setup. Price did come up and fill nearly the entire zone and nearly wicked into the internal protected high. But again, this is just grabbing liquidity here, because there's obviously sellers here, and that wick will grab their liquidity because there's a lot of probably tight stop losses and people trading similar to me. And as you see, I targeted quite conservatively on that one because I thought there's always a possibility when we're here. You've got to remember these setups will be at break even now, because this one went to break even at the break of this level, and this one also went to break even at the break of that level. So these two are at break even at this point. So I wanted to secure a little bit of profit if this trade went in my favor, because then I've technically secured 2R if these two did come up to hit break even, if that makes sense. So weak low, conservative target, even though we could have targeted externally because it's within the plan, because the externals and DXY are aligned. But anyway, that hit for a 1 to 2.09R in an hour and 2 minutes, and that was taken in London session at 10 o'clock, which is quite a good time to take trades. A lot of liquidity at 10 o'clock. And finally, the break-even trade, which again was another continuation setup with this lovely order flow. Internal break, we had our imbalance, inducement, which this is again was a lovely entry initially, as we can see. Perfect wick entry at the 0 percentile of the zone. Partial fill on the imbalance, tapped into the 3-minute supply. This was again quite a confident entry because I did just enter as soon as price got to this level, which then rejected. We then came sort of halfway to TP, but there was no structure breaks because I was looking for a break of this level for my break even. So we didn't get quite to that level, so I didn't go to break even. Oh no, sorry, I apologize, I'm completely lying because I was on the 1 minute at this point. So no, I've even got it noted up. So this level, so I entered at the 0 percentile, swept the inducement, partial fill of the imbalance. We then had the internal break, which I've even got marked my break even point. So I went to break even. At this point we come down, we reacted off a demand somewhere here and had quite a nice push, which if you were trading on the other counter trend, you could have got a nice trade here, I can see from the order flow. But anyway, that was hit out at break even, and to be fair, it would have hit TP anyway. It wouldn't have even been a loss. So price came up, we respected the level, and we were still 0.8 pips away from stop loss. Only a 4 pip stop loss on this one, covered the zone and the internal protected high, and we had a nice bit of breathing room. And then price had a nice bearish leg, slight consolidation, and another bearish leg to sweep the higher time frame target. And I was initially considering targeting this low, which is the external extreme low, because everything was so nicely aligned. And as you can see, it would have been hit had I targeted it, but yeah, it would have been hit at 8 minutes past 3, possibly if spread was good, or if not, it would have been hit at 32 minutes past or 28 minutes to 4. So could have had even more profit out of this, but I'm very happy with today. And as you can see, literally it ties into the previous video, because I was looking for this exact price action and order flow yesterday when it came to this buy to sell zone, and price just didn't react to this one, which is why it's important to understand the market and be flexible. Because had I been like, oh, price hasn't come up to my zone here, there's no trade, then I would have missed out on all of these setups, because I just reevaluated the market in the morning and saw that we'd broke the level and we'd created another buy to sell wick, which is exactly what we had here. And price came into it. I was patient, I waited, had my alert set just below the level at this level here, and price came in, I saw it, I waited, and then throughout this trade I was just monitoring the market and trading what I saw basically. And I will go over my DXY bias quickly for you, because it will likely help you to see how I was correlated for those trades. Because obviously DXY is bullish, AU is bearish, because they are opposite to each other, negatively correlated. So we had a break on the DXY here. This is obviously quite a way back in August. So we had the break, we created a supply on the daily imbalance, inducement, had another daily break, we came down. This is our external protected low, which we respected. 2 failed closes below it. This obviously indicates to me that price wants to push up higher, which we can see. We had a very large push up, which was when AU fell from the highs, as you can see. Wrong chart, this one's neater. As you can see, this was when DXY was at the bottom, and that is where the push started. We're now coming up, so you can see it's followed my prediction and outlook quite well. I'm expecting us to continue up, AU to continue down, which is likely going to lead us into this daily demand zone, and then I think we'll possibly have some form of corrective leg where we react and come down, fill some of this large bullish leg with a retracement / correction. But again, we will wait and see. But I think price will take out this internal protected high. Don't really think it will react from this wick with the way this body's looking, very bullish. I think we'll fill the imbalance and then we'll see how we'll react from here. And yeah, that is basically today's price action and content. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you do and you have any questions, then leave a like, leave a comment. A subscribe is always appreciated. I want to try and get to 1,000, so share the video around, and yeah, I hope you take some value away from this, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you do want to follow me on Instagram, which is where I post all of this stuff a bit more frequently and keep people a bit more up to date, then it is literally English Forex. So give that a follow, and hopefully I'll see you there.